Hey Danny, it's good to see you again. Welcome in.
Thank you.
How's your week been?
Really good. A lot better than last week, I would say.
Oh, that's great to hear. I'm glad to hear that. So this week, to start us off, I thought we would do something a little bit different for our mood check. So I gave you that G87 paper to fill out, and that was the 7-question questionnaire, which kind of just assesses anxiety in general. I noticed that your depression was sort of, a little bit lower, whereas your anxiety seemed to be a little bit higher. So I thought we would use this tool to kind of analyze that.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and look at that. So it looks like you scored about a 14, which puts you at the highest end of moderate anxiety. And just looking at what you circled, it seems like you're feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge, and then not being able to control your worry was just several days, which is a little bit lower. And then I noticed that you put trouble relaxing and feeling so restless that it's hard to sit still as being, nearly every day.
Yeah.
And then I see here that, feeling irritable and, being afraid something bad would happen would be more than half the days. So overall, you're in the moderate category. The highest is going to be, severe anxiety. You did score a 14, which is, basically the highest you can get and still be in moderate. So some of the symptoms, we can work on as well. But how do you think your anxiety has been compared to like last week?
I think it's been a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Yeah, I feel that, since I've been on a date and going on interviews, it felt really good.
Okay, so we'll talk about that too, because I want to get an update since our last session. Did you notice that your depression score, just looking at that on a 0 to 10, did you notice that that was higher or lower than last week?
It went lower.
It went lower? Okay, well I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. So then, next I was thinking we could just sort of talk about what we're going to do today. So we did our mood check, which, we talked about your anxiety. And then next you can just go ahead and give me an update on what's been happening since our last session. Then we'll talk a little bit about the homework from last week as well. And then we can set up, what it is you'd like to work on this week. And then we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll close out. Does that sound like a good plan to you?
Sounds like a plan, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So since we've seen each other last week, what's been going on? Can you give me an update?
Oh, so yeah, I've been looking at a lot of jobs, and I went through a couple of interviews, but just recently I'm about to get a second interview. It's coming up in a couple days from now.
So you were able to secure a second interview?
Yes, it's my first time ever, so.
So that's, you say your first time ever, so the first time you've gotten a second
interview?
Yeah,
since the...
You started applying
Yeah,
again?
since I started applying, yeah.
And how did that make you feel?
Very anxious and very nervous, because it's like a different kind of nervous, because it's like dire need. Like this is game time now for me, so.
So a different kind of anxious. And how is it different? Like, what do you notice?
It's like I said, dire need. It's like this is it. This is the furthest I've been since I stopped working.
Yeah. Do you notice any like positive emotions from your second interview?
Yeah, because yeah, definitely. Because now I'm like, okay, well now I passed that first stage.
Yeah.
Now here it is. Now this is my chance, and this is very positive income for me. And I feel very positive about it though.
Okay.
Same time.
So you're anxious in a little bit of a different way,
yeah.
But you're also feeling more positive because you've made it, past that threshold of just going on that first interview.
I popped that bubble.
Yeah, that's very exciting, and congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
Awesome. I hope you're proud of yourself for that.
And I went on a date. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
How did it go?
We're still talking, so I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
we're still texting, so that's good. And I haven't decided to do that second date yet, because I don't want to rush into things. So, but we're still talking, so I think it's a good sign.
Well, that's good. I'm sure it's good that you're going slowly, since you're working on building those interpersonal relationships a little bit. And is this the first date you've been on, if I'm correct? Since
it is.
Okay,
it is,
since the
definitely.
breakup.
Yep.
Okay, well, it's really exciting. And how were you feeling during the date? Were you?
I was a little nervous. Not a little. I was very nervous.
Yeah.
Actually. Let's just be honest.
Understandable.
Yeah. So, but I think it went really well. That she's very easygoing, so it went pretty nice.
That's
so
awesome.
She helped me out without even noticing. She helped me out.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, okay. And maybe, do you think that has anything to do with like the depression as well? Like since you've been, going on the date, and since now that you've gotten that second interview, do you think that's been helping?
That definitely lowered it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
To a
then
3, I say.
yeah, that's so 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so your anxiety's probably been a little bit more heightened then because of those things too. So that makes sense. All right. So then let's go over last week's homework. Do you remember what we discussed we were gonna do?
Yeah, thought record.
Yeah.
Actually over here.
Oh, good. You brought it with you. Okay,
Yes.
awesome. So using the thought record, how many times did you use it?
Twice.
You used it twice.
Yes, twice.
Let's go over that.
So the situation was the interview and the date.
Oh, so you used it
Yeah.
before those two things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I said the mood was definitely with anxiety. The mood was anxiety
For both of these?
for both. Yes.
Okay.
So the interview was about 90%, and the date would be 70%.
So
Anxiety.
90% anxiety for the interview and then 70% anxiety for the date.
Yes.
Okay. So anxiety was like the biggest emotion that you noticed when you were doing these. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so my automatic thoughts were with the interview, I'm never going to get a job, and I'm not good enough.
Okay.
And with the date situation, I'm never going to get a girlfriend.
Mm.
As well, I'm not good enough.
So I'm not good enough was in both of these.
Yes.
So it's a pretty deep automatic thought that we're having, you noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said I'm never gonna get a job, which is I think one that we identified when we did it together as well.
Mhm.
And then I'm not good enough for a girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm not
Okay.
good enough for a girlfriend.
Okay.
I'm never going to be.
I'm sorry.
Never
Never gonna find a girlfriend. Okay. Okay. And then so after that you were able to look at the facts that support and the facts that do not support these automatic thoughts?
Yes, it was actually pretty easy for me to
Oh.
do that. Yeah. And so my new thoughts that I came up with was I have with a date. I have dated before after a breakup,
Mhm.
and that I deserve to be happy and I'm worthy of love.
Hmm.
So that's what the
And then what about the interview? What
Oh,
were your
yeah,
thoughts?
and the interview situation was I am qualified for this job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So.
And did you notice like an increase or decrease in the anxiety? What did you find?
Oh, and so I did that with the mood for after that when I made that one. It was anxiety 60% for the interview, and then 40% for the date.
Okay, so a good reduction. So we went from 90 to 60 with the interview
Mhm.
for anxiety, and then we went from 70 to 40 on the date with anxiety. So
Exactly.
that's good. So what did you think like overall about this?
It definitely helped for me.
It was helpful.
It definitely was.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad that this was helpful for you, and it sounds like you did a really good job of this on your own as well.
Thank
So I will encourage you to keep doing this throughout as you continue identifying automatic thoughts and working through these. And the more that you do this, I think the easier it will continue to be for you to, go through this process too. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've, reviewed our homework a little bit, let's talk about what we're going to do for the rest of the session. So what do you think is something that you would like to work on, for this week?
So I definitely feel that anxiety for the coming up interview that I have next.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would like to work on that, so I'm ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big deal. And we want to make sure you're prepared and that you're able to do that.